Hello, my name is Amanda, and I'll be presenting on technology in health and physical education. All right, so kind of introduce you to this project. It's going to go in the following order. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, what my personal strengths are, the career path I desire, and then how I can implement technology into that career. So, to start us off, if the slide will change. Here we go. All right, so a little bit about me. As I already said, my name is Amanda. I did all my K through 12 schooling in the Port Washington Saukville School District. So grew up in Port Washington, Wisconsin. Graduated there. After that, I went to Ripon College from 2017 to 2019. Did ROTC and Army Reserves while I was there. Then in 2020, I transferred to UW-Platteville, where I continue to go to this day. I am a health and human performance major with an emphasis in physical education, minor in health, and will have an adapted PE certification as well. Some of my hobbies outside of school include reading for fun, video games, watching TV or movies, enjoying the outdoors such as hiking, kayaking, being crafty, drawing, painting, exercising or lifting weights, and enjoying music or going to concerts. Some of my personal strengths are timeliness, so showing up either early or on time, and then getting assignments done before the due date. Being a team player, so working well with others, knowing how to collaborate on stuff. Being creative, so thinking outside the box, kind of putting my own spin on things. Having a growth mindset and looking at the positives rather than the negatives in a situation and how can we make this better, or kind of like working with what we have. And then I consider myself pretty persistent, and I have a lot of perseverance. When I get knocked down, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to try again. I'm not just going to give in and give up. Dream job. So initially starting out, right after I graduate, I intend to be a physical education and health educator or teacher. Preferably middle or high school level. Probably do that for a few years, and then kind of move my way up the ladder to athletic director, school board member, and then eventually like a district administration position like vice superintendent or something like that. All right, moving on. So qualities to possess. I find that these can be integrated with any of the previous positions I just listed. So there's not like one in specific I'm looking at. And there's no particular order that these are listed in either. So I definitely think you need to have some integrity with your position. You need to be honest with yourself, with your students, the parents, your coworkers, and your boss. So you also need to demonstrate or have a good sense of mental, social, and physical wellness. You need to have good communication skills, whether it's verbal or electronic, nonverbal, all of that good stuff. And again, whether it's with students, parents, coworkers, or your boss. Own your role. So I think own your role and live what you preach kind of intertwine, along with good sense of mental, social, physical wellness. Well, I guess they kind of all intertwine. But this is a real life example from my high school. He was the athletic director at the time I was in high school, and then he eventually got moved up to vice principal and most recently principal. He was pulled over for a DUI and was put on leave, administrative leave, I believe, and he just recently resigned from his position. So I think that just goes to show, like, if you're preaching, oh, like, don't underage drink or don't drink and drive, and then you go and do it, you're a hypocrite. So I definitely need to, like, preach what I teach, or live what I preach. So I think that one's a huge one, especially being a teacher or educator. And then having the best interests of the students in the school in mind at all times when you're doing stuff. Moving on to daily tasks. Again, this could really apply, well, this applies mostly to the PE health teacher role, but it could apply to any of the positions I listed. So taking attendance, making sure either your students or your staff members are there doing what they need to be doing. Equipment inspections, making sure you have everything you need and that it works how it's supposed to work. Equipment setup breakdown, whether you do that or you have your students do that. Skill checks. So looking to see if your students can retain previous knowledge before moving on to new skills, which leads us to demonstrations. It's kind of behind my window box here. Whoops. But then, showing whether it be a physical demonstration or having a student demonstrate or pulling up a video of a demonstration. Monitoring behavior. So, making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing in the correct manner. Responding, sending emails, professionalism. Planning, whether it be lesson plans, making new ones, or revising old ones. So that's kind of a day in the life. Moving on, we have our 21st century skills. So I actually found out there are 12 21st century skills divided into 3 categories: learning, literacy, and life. Today we're just going to be focusing on the learning skills, though, which consists of critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. So critical thinking, finding solutions to problems, communication, talking to others, collaboration, working with others, and creativity, thinking out of the box. So how I intend to use these in my classroom, critical thinking most likely would be like strategy games. Communication and collaboration, we're always going to be using that in a Phi-Ed gym class, working with your team, or if it's a small group or a large group activity. And just communication, that's just a skill you're gonna need. Creativity. I plan to use this skill by taking like classic games and trying to put a new spin on it, so it's something the kids think is new and fun that they haven't seen before. So that's how I intend to use those in my class. Some challenges I intend to overcome or face in my career. It's going to be student and parent interactions. So when you have a student that's like really like back talking you or sassing you, or even parents, that are just very disrespectful, how to go about those in a respectful way and tactfully and maintain your professionalism while also like getting my point across. I'm definitely going to have to work on that, or form a plan in my head kind of before the interaction. Like I know we've talked about the 24-hour rule and kind of setting that boundary to respond rather than react. So that's kind of the plan I have right now. And then just in general, behavior management, something I haven't really had a whole lot of practice with. So, with anything, with time comes experience. So I know I'll get it eventually, but initially just being assertive and standing my ground, holding my own, not backing down on my expectations. That's going to be something I struggle with in the beginning, but once I, set my expectations and maintain them, I think it'll be easier down the line. Okay, so moving on to technology. So what exists in the PE field right now? These are just a few examples. So heart rate monitors, pedometers, speakers, fitness or nutrition tracking apps, projectors, tablets, laptops, and microphones. Into the next page. So how can we use it? The microphone I'm a big fan of, especially in a large space like a gymnasium. It'll definitely save your voice. So if you have I have a photo of the clip-on microphone right here. So just clip right on to your shirt, and you have like a little walkie-talkie basically, and you can change the volume and turn it on and off. So if you don't want the whole class hearing what you're saying, just switch that off. Yeah, I definitely think that'll be a huge voice saver. Next, the boombox. So incorporating music. You can hook up either your phone or a laptop. You can play music throughout your gym class. I think that's a huge motivator for kids. And if you're doing like a rhythm and dance lesson, you can do the moves to the beat. So for like projectors or laptops and tablets, you can show videos of demonstrations if you're not competent in the movement yourself, or if you don't have anyone in the class that can demonstrate. And then for the apps that I talked about, I have my Fitness Pal, which is a nutrition tracking app. I believe you can also track exercise on there as well. And then I have a Coach's Eye app, which you can track movements and see if you're doing them right. They have all kinds of cool like devices in there. You can track like the angle of your arm or leg. So that's a really cool one I want to incorporate. Heart rate and pedometer, so track your steps or your heart rate. I think you can also, there's also programs or apps out there you can make a workout program too, so that would be neat to use. All right, so wrapping it up, this presentation was about integrating technology into schools and specifically PE classes and how to use 21st century learning skills to facilitate classes with that technology. All right, and then I really only used one source. It was for the 21st century learning skills. And then all the photos besides the About Me slide were sourced from Google Images. Here's my resume. It is very small to read. I apologize. So yeah, it just kind of reiterates my education here. American Red Cross CPR certified. All of my teaching / observation experience, any enrichment opportunities I've had. So I've gone to the WHPE conference. I've also gone to Houston, Texas for an urban center for learning and got to observe some charter schools there. My work history, and then any like scholarships or honors I've gotten, and then some people that I feel are good references and who will speak well of me. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And that was my presentation on technology and PE and health. Thank you.